Hello and welcome to part 2 of my factorizing expressions videos. So these ones are a little bit trickier than the part 1 video, but let's get stuck into it. So we're going to answer these two questions. I recommend you should pause the video and try these out because you'll learn better. Alright, this is the process we use. Alright, so in order to factorize expressions, we decide the highest common factor of the coefficients. We decide the highest common factor of the variable terms. We write the highest common factor out the front and set up our little solution. And then we're doing these little thinks. What number must I multiply highest common factor by to get the first term? And that's the first number in the brackets. What number must I multiply HCF by to get the second term? And you write that as the second number. But then we check our answer by expanding. There's only one way to do it, but to go ahead and do it. Factorize expressions. Let's go. Let's cover up that guy. Whoa. Let's cover up this guy. Okay, we're pulling a highest common factor out the front. Check the coefficients first. What is the highest common factor between 6 and 8? Now, I look at them and I see they're negative. And that is a dead giveaway that 2 must come out the front. They're divisible by 2. Then I check my variables. We've got x cubed and x squared. Now the highest common factor out of those is the one with the lowest power. The highest common factor is the one with the lowest power. I'm going to pull x squared out the front. And then y, well, y isn't common to both of them. So we're ready to start putting numbers into our brackets. Let's go. Now so what number must I multiply 2x squared by to get 6x cubed? Look at your coefficients first. 2 times what gives me 6? 3. X squared times what gives me x cubed? X squared times what gives me x cubed? You might even look at it like this. X squared is the same as x times something. So it's just times x, right? Hopefully that made sense. 2x squared times x will give me x cubed. And you can multiply that out if you like to check. If you're not quite confident. 2 times 3 is 6. X squared times x, x cubed. So something to remember over here. And let's check this out. So going back to here, 2x squared times what number gives me 8x squared y? Check your coefficients first. Now, maybe I get a different, I won't get a different value. 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times 4 gives me 8. Okay, and then I need to somehow get my x squared term. X squared times what gives me x squared? Just times 1, so it's already incorporated in it. 2x squared times what gives me a y in there? We need to get a y in there. So we just put the y down because it's not in our highest common factor. And then we can check by multiplying out. So 2 times 4 is positive 8. X squared times y, x squared y. We end up with that answer. So that's our check. So it might seem quite strange at the moment, but you just persevere, okay? All right? Okay, checking our coefficients with factorizing this. Ignore your negative for now. What's the common factor between 6 and 20? I'm trying to see, well, 6 doesn't go into 20. All right, so, and then I'm thinking, okay, half of 6 is 3. 3 doesn't go into 20 either. They're both even numbers. So a dead giveaway is that one of them is 2. The highest common factor is 2. And then we check our variables, the p's. Highest common factor is the variable with the lowest power. So over p cubed and p squared, you're going to choose that p squared. And then q is not common. It's not common to both terms. So we're ready to factorize. 2p squared times what will give me this first term? I only laugh a little bit because it seems hectic, but it's okay. Look at your coefficients. All right, let's get rid of these squiggly lines. Let's get rid of them. Okay. Well, 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times 3 gives me 6. P squared times what gives me p cubed? Well, that comes back to here. P squared times what gives me p cubed? P. All right, thinking about that little rule over there. And then we look at, okay, 2p squared times what will give me 6p cubed q. So we need to get a q in there. It's not already in there. So check that and you can check. I'll let you check at home due to time. All right. Now we're checking this next number. 2, ignore the negative for now. 2 times what gives me 20? 2 times 10 gives me 20. And then we look at the signs. How can we go from positive to a negative? Positive 2 times negative 10 gives me negative 20. Different signs means negative. All right, so we've got that there, and we can actually, is there different signs? Just rewrite that there. So we've got that, and then we see this, well, 2p squared times negative 10 does give me negative 20p squared, so we're done. We're done this question. It's all good, and you can multiply it out at home and see if you get this question. Now, let's see. Factorize expressions with 3 terms. Let's do this. Okay, so a little bit different. Notice in the past ones there's only 2 terms. It's pretty much the same thing. Okay, but just another term added. Look at your coefficients. What's the highest common factor between 8, 12, and 4? Well, I can realize that this lowest number here actually goes into all of them. 4 goes into 4, goes into 8, goes into 12. So we can pull 4 out the front. Then check your variables. Okay, is A a common term? No. Is P a common term? Yes, it is. And we choose the one with the lowest, lowest index, okay? So we're going to pull P out the front. The highest common factor is the variable with the lowest index. So we'll pull P out the front, and we've also got a C there, but that's not common. We're ready. This time there's actually a few terms. Don't let it freak you out. We just follow the process. 4p times what gives me 8ap? Check your coefficients. 4 times what gives me 8? 2. 4 times 2 gives me 8. So now we've got 4p times 2. We're at 8p. We need to incorporate an a. And then we'll multiply that out and get 8ap. Now, looking at this, 4p times what gives me 12cp? 4 times what gives me 12? Check the coefficients. 4 times 3 gives me 12. And we've got 12 sorted. 4p, well, we've got the p sorted. We need to incorporate that c in there. C in our answer. Nice. Done. All right, 4p times what gives me negative 4p squared? Well, 4 times 1 gives me 4. 4 times negative 1 will give me negative 4. So I can change that, okay, to a negative. Okay, take 1. So 4p times negative 1, negative 4p. We need p squared, right? So p times p gives p squared. And we factorize. You can feel free to check that at home. Check it multiplies out. Actually, we'll do it here because it's a bit new. So 4 times 2 is 8. P times A is just AP. Put it in alphabetical order. Check your next one multiplying out. Your crab claw has 3 prongs this time. 4 times 3 is 12. P times C, PC. 4 So take the sign out the front. 4 times -1 is -4p squared. Looking nice. And what do you notice? We get our answer. We get our answer. So that's our check. This is our factorized form. So you leave your answer like that. Final question of the day. Let's check it out. All right. So factorizing another expression with 3 terms. Ignore the negative. Don't worry about it. What's the common factor here? Interesting. All right. So you might just want to check through what's our highest common factor. Sorry, I had to pause the video to have a think about that for a second. How do we get that down there? Okay. So this one, I was thinking, is our common factor 4? No, 4 doesn't go into 18. Is it 9? No, 9 doesn't go into 12 evenly. And then I noticed, oh, 6. 6 goes into all of these nicely. So that's our highest common factor. You might need to test it out a little bit. So 6 goes into all of those. Pull that out the front. Check our variables. Our A's. So A is a common factor in each term. And do we put A or do we put A squared out the front? We put A, because that's the highest common factor is the variable with the lowest power. All right. And then is B a common factor here? Yes, B is in every term. B and B squared. Choose the lowest power. Okay. And we know there's going to be a few terms in here. So 6AB times what gives me this first term? Check your coefficients first. And what I might do, I'm going to drag all that away. 6AB times what will give me 18A squared B? Check your code. 6 times 3 gives me 18. A times A gives me A squared. B times 1 gives me B. We're all good. We've done it. Check this next one. Okay. Scared of that. Last question. You can do this, all right? So 6AB. So 6 times what will give me -36? I need to end up with a negative. Different signs will get me that negative. So 6 times 6 gives me 36. 6 times -6 gives me -36. And what else? So then we're checking our variables. A times what gives me A? We're already sorted. B times what gives me B squared? We need to incorporate another B. Final bit. Okay. 6 times what gives me 12? 6 times 2 gives me 12. And we've got a positive number, so we're all good. Put a plus sign. A times what gives me A? Well, just A times 1. Don't have to write anything. B times what gives me B? Well, just 1 as well, so don't have to write anything. And then our check again. 6AB times 3A. 6 times 3 is 18. A times A squared. B times 1, B. Again, taking that sign out the front. 6 times -6, different signs, negative. A times 1, A. B times B, B squared. Plus 6 times 2 is 12. A times 1 is A, B times 1 is B. And that's all I have for you today. Just a reminder, if you need to factorize, this is what your answer should look like. If you need to expand, you want to get rid of the brackets and you can move in between the two. All right. And this is the process we use if you want to copy that down. And I'll see you in my next video. Okay. Have a great one. Bye.